Good morning, this is Roger Guy of Chapter7Attorneys.com. I wanted to do a little informational video on bankruptcy options, in particular Chapter 7 bankruptcy options and Chapter 13 bankruptcy options. And I hope you find this helpful. Let's begin with Chapter 13 options. For those of you who don't know, Chapter 13 is a repayment bankruptcy. It is a consolidation bankruptcy. A lot of times it's known as a wage earners repayment bankruptcy. That type of bankruptcy typically lasts for 3 to 5 years. Whether you're filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy or whether you're filing a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, the court is going to look at the median income that you've made. And what median income is defined as is the income which you've earned for the 6 months prior to filing your bankruptcy case. And depending on the level of that income, you may be required to file a Chapter 13 case, or you may be eligible to be able to file a Chapter 7 case. In both cases, the court is also going to look at what we call disposable income. And disposable income simply means the amount of the money that you have at the end of the month to pay your creditors. So after your normal household expenses. So after you pay your mortgage payment or your rent payment and your necessaries of life, electricity, food, and so forth, if you have $1,000 a month at the end of the month, then that would be your Chapter 13 payment in the bankruptcy if you file a Chapter 13 case. Now, many times clients have a frustration with the fact that their Chapter 13 payment plan is too expensive or they can't afford it. And if that's the case, then you may want to consider filing a Chapter 7 case and just be done with the debt. Chapter 13 cases can be expensive. Because the case has to be monitored by the attorney's office for 3 to 5 years, the attorney fees are quite expensive. They're probably between $3,500 to $4,500 here in Metro Atlanta area. The length of the case, as I already mentioned, lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 years. And that just depends on the amount of the debt that you have. As far as how successful the Chapter 13 case is, unfortunately, that's not a very good statistic. Typically, the Chapter 13 cases fail at the rate of 75%. So in other words, 75 out of 100 Chapter 13 cases fail. And typically what happens when the Chapter 13 cases fail, the client ends up filing a Chapter 7 case anyhow. Now I wanted to take a moment, I'm going to move to the other side of the screen here, to talk about Chapter 7 cases. Chapter 7 cases, on the other hand, are known as a fresh start bankruptcy. And fresh start means that your debts are discharged. Discharged, to use legal jargon, is simply meaning that the debts are wiped out. And most debts are wiped out. Some debts, such as a DUI conviction or a fraud charge or things of that nature, are not wiped out. Child support, of course, cannot be wiped out. Under the current law, student loans cannot be wiped out, although there is a bill pending in Congress right now to change that. But most debts, such as credit cards, can be wiped out. Other general unsecured debts, medical bills can be wiped out, and different types of accounts that you may have. Not everybody can qualify for Chapter 7 debt relief, bankruptcy. And again, the court is going to look at the median income to determine whether you can, in fact, qualify for Chapter 7 debt relief. For example, in Georgia, if you make, as a single individual, more than $41,000 in Georgia, you will not be able to qualify, probably, for Chapter 7 relief. If your household is 2 people, then the income threshold limit is approximately $53,000. If your household is a family of 3, then approximately, if you're earning about $61,000, that's about the cutoff. If it's a family of 4, the median income level is about $68,000. And if there are additional family members in the household, then the income, median income level is raised by $6,800 per additional family member. Sometimes, even if it looks like initially you cannot qualify for Chapter 7 relief because you are above the median income, there are certain deductions that may in fact bring you below the median income. And typically those deductions might be such things as your mortgage payment. That could be an expense that could be used to bring you below the median income. A child support payment or a other court-ordered payment could be used to bring you below the median income. Maybe a vehicle payment could be used to help out to bring you below the median income. And so there are various different other expenses that might allow you, even though initially it looks like you don't qualify for Chapter 7 relief. The court also, just like in a Chapter 13 case, is going to be looking at your disposable income. And again, the disposable income is simply the amount of the money that you have after your normal household expenses that you have at the end of the month. And in a Chapter 7 case, really you cannot have any disposable income in order to be able to qualify for a Chapter 7 relief, Chapter 7 bankruptcy relief. The attorney fees in a Chapter 7 case, typically in Metro Atlanta, Georgia, are going to run between $1,000 to $1,500 depending on the law firm that you go to. And in my practice, it usually runs approximately $1,100 on the typical case. Normally, payment plans are available for the attorney fees even in a Chapter 7 case. The court is going to, whether you file, well, in a Chapter 7 case, the court cost is going to be $299. And that's separate from the attorney fees. That has to be paid whenever the case is filed. On the other hand, in a Chapter 13 case, the court cost is a little different, or a little less expensive, which is $274. Typically, a Chapter 7 case, lasts for a lot shorter period of time. In fact, once we file the case, from the start to the finish, typically the Chapter 7 case is concluded or brought to a finish within approximately 5 months. And statistics show that on a national basis, Chapter 7s usually have about a 97% success rate. When I file the cases for Chapter 7, we usually have higher than that. It just depends on the individual circumstances. Well, thank you for listening to this video, and I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, just feel free to view us online at Chapter 7, the number 7, attorneys.com, or call me at 770-792-1000. Thank you again.